Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Intensive Treatment, your number one podcast for everything Arkham related. Um, yeah, this is different. I finally got my computer back, or at least a computer to work with. Yeah, he's happy about it, and I can finally use my Yeti again. I'm so happy because I love this thing, and I'm going to put it to great use. And now my audio now is a lot more clear. So you won't just be hearing me talking into a phone from from then on. But anyway, so besides that, today we're going to be talking about challenge maps, one of the most defining side modes in the Arkham games. Just about every single one of them has had challenge maps over the years, starting with Arkham Asylum, moving on to Arkham City. Arkham Origins had its fair share, and then Arkham Knight, of course, is you know the big finale.
Yeah.
So for this video, we're primarily just going to be going through our favorites, what we don't like, and if there's any other ones we want to mention, like just odd mentions, we'll do that. But I guess we should start off with our favorite, the best game, Arkham Asylum. Uh, I love this game and the challenge maps. I think the challenge maps in this game are the most fun, but that's just me.
I agree with you. I find myself going back to Asylum's challenge maps more than the other games, for
Yeah.
sure. Just for pure enjoyment. They're fun. A lot of them are fast paced, I find. So you just kind of going through it like that, it makes it funner because you're not just like sitting there trying to grind it out like
Mm-hmm.
Arkham Knight with like all the side challenges in them, like get so many I mean, there's points in Arkham Asylum, yes, and sometimes they're hard to attain. But I don't know, Arkham Knight had like some of them where it was like you can't get hit at all, um, and you had to have a certain amount of points. It was just they had a lot of it just made it more grindy. But Asylum is like right to basics. Fight these guys, get these points, and some of them have like extra things in the challenge maps. Like I don't remember the name of it, but that one where the lunatics are there, and it's like that room in the Arkham Mansion. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
one of the exclusive ones. Uh, I love that one, but it has a great variety of challenge maps as well. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to talk about that as well, because the other games, and I'm sure we'll get more into this when we get to Arkham Knight, but there's not a real variety there unless you have DLC.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Asylum, um, I mean, this pretty much goes for all the games, but most of the challenge maps are just basically reused areas that you've been through before. Maybe they'll change around like a little bit. Like in Asylum's case, you have the intensive treatment, the medical center, uh, the gardens, and a couple of other areas that I can't think of off the top of my head. But one of my favorite things about the Asylum Challenge maps is that they encourage you to do better each time, especially for the combat ones. The combat ones are like, you know, some points can be a little hard to obtain, but like, you know, when the challenge map ends, you're encouraged to go back and try again and do better. And if you do better, then you'll get all 3 points. And, that's the thing. So
Um, Another thing I loved about Asylum's challenge maps was when you at least when you get the Game of the Year edition, which obviously the Return to Arkham comes with all that stuff. Um, but I know when I first got it for Xbox 360, the extra challenge maps are some of my favorite ones in the whole series. Um, I think it's Nocturnal Animal, maybe it
yeah.
um, is one of my favorite Predator maps by far. Just because it's a very unique map. It's an area of the map that is not actually used in the game. I don't know where it is in the Asylum, but it's pretty awesome. Um, and then I love the challenge map that takes place in Crime Alley. Um, I love
Yeah.
that challenge map. Um, just based on aesthetics alone and the atmosphere it gives, that whole game really, honestly, the whole game, whether it's challenge maps or story, the atmosphere is just perfect. Um, and they hit on all the different notes that Batman has in his
Oh yeah,
character.
totally.
So I love the Game of the Year challenge maps. The DLC ones are great too. And obviously, we'll also throw in that this game did include the Joker as a playable character in the challenge maps, which was something that they would later use in all of the games, which was extra players challenge maps.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
there's something about Joker in this game that's very simple and effective. Um, his character is used pretty well. Um, it's fun for me to just go around doing predator missions without being stealthy at all and just kicking the shit out of people so loudly, stomping their heads in as the Joker. And his combat's pretty good as well. So he's fun. What do you think of the Joker though?
I think his combat challenges are a lot of fun. Like it's just like I love his move set. I love his gadgets. Just like one of my favorite things to do is literally jump over guards. Like you know how the Batman and the others they just kind of vault over people. Joker literally just like um leapfrogs over the opponents, and I love that thing. Um, the Predator maps though, it is fun. Like I like Joker's gadgets and like all that, but like I don't know. There's just something about not being able to use gargoyles or glide around that just makes it kind
Yeah,
of irritating. But you know,
I agree. Um, that's why I never use his predator maps to actually be predator maps. I just use it as an excuse to jump around and beat the shit out of people with guns
yeah,
in that game. But yeah, as an actual predator map, if we're like it's they're not he's not meant as a predator character. Like
no,
he really isn't. Just the way he moves and the way he um is set up in the game, he's just not meant for predator.
yeah. Literally, one of his gadgets is a gun with only one bullet in it, and like
I
so.
know. But yeah, Arkham Asylum maps, it's our favorite, as we already said. And there's something still to me special about it when I go back and play it. That game just never ceases to amaze me and goes above my expectations. I just love that game to death.
Absolutely, yeah.
Um, so on that great note, we're gonna move on to another really good note, which is Arkham City. Uh, the challenge maps in Arkham City, I mean, what can I say? They're not bad. Um, I really actually I love some of the DLC ones, and I really like the ones that they gave us in the game. It's not as special as Arkham Asylum's for me, but they're still really great challenge maps. Um, some that point out or some that stick out to me is like the Wonder Tower one, whether it's on top of the Wonder Tower or it's in Wonder City. Um, the what was it? The Scion of Steel Mill one. That's really fun because I love that part of the game. Um, and I really, really love the challenge map. I forget the name of it, but it's at the steel mill, and it's where you have to get like 1,000,000 points or something as whatever character, and you can't get hit. No, there's a timer. I'm sorry, and
Oh yeah,
that's a
that's the Joker's Funhouse one, right?
yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
it.
one.
Yeah.
And obviously, you have classics like the Iceberg Lounge is on there. So and the Wayne Manor is on there. So you have some really iconic ones that also made their way into Arkham Knight because they were fan favorites.
Hmm.
Um, but what do you think of them as a whole? As I said before, for me, it's not as special as Asylum by any means, but they're still great. I enjoy them a lot.
Um, See, the thing about cities maps is that I do like you're right. Arkham Asylum had a bit more charm to theirs. But one thing I love about cities maps is that how innovative they became. They were always trying new things and experimenting with different kind of gameplay modes and stuff. And like one of my favorite things to do in city, like besides flying around stuff, is just going into the custom maps and then like turning
Yes.
on uh either enhancers or
Yes.
different things that hinder the player, like stuff like that, which I think
Yeah.
is pretty great. And
Forgot about
they did
custom
have,
maps.
yeah, they did have some interesting variety with different set pieces and locations. Like one of the DLC maps is one of my favorites, besides Joker's Funhouse and the Iceberg Lounge and stuff, is the Black Mask one when you're on the train.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an
And it's
awesome one.
and it turns into like a 2D beat 'em up style kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
shit like that I love. I
Yeah.
will say the just overall the stealth maps I find mechanically work a lot better in City than Asylum, even though I
Yeah.
do love Asylum's stealth maps and
Yeah.
their set challenges. But I think City just kind of ups the ante more and makes it a more fun result. Like one of my favorites stealth wise is the Batcave. You can get so
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun.
I would say that the way I see it is, and I probably should have mentioned this before, but I think Asylum's strong suit and its charm. I love the Predator maps in Asylum, but it's in the combat. And Cities is definitely in the Predator mode, even though by definition, Cities is technically better than Asylum's combat. It's
Mhm.
just much more fluent. You can do so much more. So I would say though that if we're picking one or the other, I would go Asylum is probably combat. Charm wise, I just like you said, there's something about Asylum, whether it be the stripped down version of how it plays. I like how limited it is
Mhm.
compared to City, but City's stealth is fun. Like I enjoy doing it, whereas Asylum can get kind of like like looking at the screen, like, come on, man, come
Yeah.
on, I got shot 15 times, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. I do agree because with Asylum's combat maps, they made you use everything you had in the combat system. They made you use every gadget, every throw, every takedown. They made you use those to get better scores, and it made you really
Yes.
think about what you were doing.
Yeah.
So, and Asylum stealth maps, like they did have some fun like challenges sprinkled in there, but most of the time
Yeah.
it's just like you're just hiding in a corner like after being shot like a few times. So but
Yeah.
I think Cities though, like besides the challenges and stuff, like it's the same thing with Asylum's combat map. Like it made you really think about what you're doing, like how to take them out in a certain way and
Yeah.
all that. Even with they do uh I guess we should have mentioned this earlier, but like besides the custom maps and stuff, you can do rank challenges and they have campaigns of different challenge maps kind of stitched together. So
Yeah.
that kind of stuff made you really think about what you're doing and with like what person to take down, what modifiers to use, and overall it's just a lot of fun. So
Yeah. I mean, City just took everything that made Asylum great and kind of upped it in terms of innovation.
mhm.
Um, they just expanded on everything that Asylum did really well.
Really, yeah.
Um, so I have fun on both, and they both don't get old. But I
No.
guess now we'll move on to Arkham City's stepbrother, Arkham Origins, with the copy and paste style of the challenge maps. Um, there was no changes in any of the combat really, except one move, which is a horrible change. And I'm just going to throw it out there really quickly because not a lot of people remember this. In Arkham City, you have the shield takedowns where he comes down from the top and does like a smash on them. Now, in Origins, you have that move, but he does this dumbass thing where he goes down on them and then does it again.
Yeah.
And you get hit. You get hit. There's no way you're not getting hit unless you're 50 feet away from the other people. And it pisses me off in challenge maps because I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do a shield takedown now. When I could just activate my shock gloves and just take him out anyway. But Arkham Origins, it's very throwaway for me with challenge map wise. There's a couple really good ones, but apart from that, it's not very memorable. I bet.
Mhm.
Like, um, none of them stick out to me that I would be like, I want to go revisit this and play it just for the hell of it, just to have fun. Um, and it's copy and paste. They didn't really innovate on anything, and that was kind of Arkham Origins' big downfall as well. Is they didn't do too much to change the pace of how the games were going to flow.
Yeah.
So yeah, not very memorable. Not bad, but it's just not. I don't find myself going back to them.
Yeah, I think you really hit it on the head right there because I feel the same way where a lot of it is just very very forgettable. There's only one map that I think I would go back to, and hopefully you feel the same way about this, is the 100 to 1 map that
I
you
was just
get
going to say
from
that.
it's from the Deathstroke deal. Like that
Great
is
map.
a fun map. And
Yes.
I love going back to it with all the characters besides,
Mm-hmm.
Batman. But I also go back with Deathstroke and even Bruce Wayne too,
Mm-hmm.
just to see how he would handle that situation. But
Yeah.
um, yeah. Besides that, like, it's just not fun. It's just boring. Like even for the combat stuff, because the combat you can just like you said, you just turn on the shock gloves and then you win. Um, so So it just kind of defeats the whole purpose of, you know, the challenge maps when you have a basically a win button. so,
Exactly.
um, other than that, though, I do like um, that they added a training kind of section to the challenge maps, like
Yeah.
a separate section of maps where basically they teach you on certain mechanics and
Mm-hmm.
just how to get accustomed. That I really like.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I'd like as far as map variety, there's not really a whole lot of there that's really fun or exciting.
No.
Like not even like even for the DLC stuff, besides the 100 to 1, there's not really that pops out in my head that is really like fun. Like the first game had, Crime Alley, it had uh the Scarecrow one where you're just fighting his
Yes.
bone army. City had the Iceberg Lounge and the Joker's Funhouse, but Origins doesn't
Batcave.
really have anything. Yeah.
No. No, it doesn't. It's like
So
there's no Origins' issue was that it hadn't like you don't see one fan favorite in Arkham Knight from Origins at all.
no.
Um, we see the suit, so I mean, it just goes to show that Rocksteady acknowledged Arkham Origins existed completely,
Mhm.
but nobody was asking for Origins maps because they were not iconic enough. They didn't do enough to. They weren't fun enough. They didn't shoehorn themselves in to say, "Hey, like Origins has a name too. We can do some great stuff." It just didn't have that
Yeah.
for the challenge maps, anyway.
Yeah. I think it leads back into one of my issues with Origins that it doesn't really have an identity of its own. So,
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
so, um, so yeah, Blackgate didn't have any challenge maps. It completely skipped out on it. And I can understand why, because,
Yeah,
taking the Arkham combat into 2D, it's not really that fun. So I can see why they just cut that. But Knight had quite a number of them, and
it did.
for me, Knight has the Origins problem where it's like a lot of them aren't really that fun. Um, Aside from some off ones here and there, and I mean the DLC ones. Um, I love the community pack that brings back like Crime Alley, and also
Yeah,
you can fight inside the Monarch Theater, like stuff like that is a
yeah,
lot of fun. Um, and also the Batmobile race tracks and stuff are a lot of fun too. Other than
yeah.
that, though, there's not really a whole lot of maps that I go back to in Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight's problem, like you said, is it did the same thing with Origins. It didn't have I mean, there was a couple like even with Origins for me. Like, there's a few that I really like, but they're not like top level maps. Like Asylum and City continuously had top level maps, but Knight had this thing where really the only great maps were the ones we already got. from
Yeah.
Asylum and City. And that so I don't even count Night in it because now, mind you, the remasters or redos of those maps are really, really good. I think they look
Yeah.
great, and the way they feel in the game flows perfectly. Um, so they did do a great job with that. But the maps themselves are not a change. I'm grateful they added them in because they're fan favorites, obviously, for a reason. But I get with Night, like I don't have any maps really that I go back to unless I'm trying to get 3 stars for each character or something.
Mhm.
I don't just go to play them. Yeah, I don't have much to say, but the Batmobile challenge maps are really fun. And I think they're overhated. The hate for the Batmobile in the campaign is totally agreeable. I agree with it. But the challenge maps are actually really fun for me. I love going around in the 89 Batmobile in the Batman Returns themed map. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Tumblr maps like Cataclysm, that's a great map. Unfortunately, we didn't really get any Batman versus Superman maps, but that would have been awesome to maybe have the where Batman becomes a psychopathic murderer in that movie where he's driving around. That would have been a cool map. The shipyard would have been really cool in that game. But and the 66 Batmobile challenge maps are great. So there was a good variety of that. And I actually enjoy some of the stealth maps. But really they're not, none of them are iconic enough to really say that they
No.
impacted how I played or how I viewed the game. So
Yeah, no. Yeah, a lot of it was just from my memory, a lot of it was just like we're gonna have a challenge map on just a rooftop, and then we're gonna have a stealth map on another rooftop. Like that's it. Like, there's
yeah,
um like the only one that I can really think of, or the only two that I can really think of off the top of my head, is the one on top of the movie studios and the other one on top of the statue. I forget the name of it, but
Pale Moonlight and yeah, the statue one's not ringing a bell. The name I don't
yeah,
remember.
yeah, that's it. Like everything else though is completely forgettable. But yeah, I will say like for the Batmobile stuff, they're fun. There's a couple maps which I don't like. Um, but that's mostly because of strict time limits and other stuff. But I will say, yeah, the DLC ones with like the movie vehicles and all that, like that shit's a whole lot of fun. And I wish we could have got more of that, like with a BVS track, or if they added the animated series Batmobile, they could have had something along those lines, like just more stuff like that, like just like fanfare type shit.
You know what
So,
I would have really loved, and I think you would too, is so in Spider-Man PS4 you have the vintage suit, which Marvel got me hooked on, by the way. Just throwing
mm,
that out there. And can you imagine in Arkham Knight if we got an animated map from the animated series with like the big black gothic buildings, a red sky, and with the animated suit and Batmobile, and that it was like a full vintage kind of look, an animated look to the
that would
whole
have been
map.
so cool.
It would have been. I'm sorry, I'm like ruining everybody's lives right now. I'm like, why can't we do this? But that would have been incredible to just see that TV show come to life in a video game. It would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a Arkham Knight. Marvel and I always talk about this. It's just a bowl of missed opportunities, but um, so that's really all we have to say about Arkham Knight. A lot of missed opportunities, but there's some fun stuff in there for sure with
Yeah.
challenge maps. Um,
Yeah. A lot more than Origins had to offer. Like that's for
yeah,
sure.
Origins is like the little brother that couldn't find out what he wanted to do in his life, so he just stayed at mom's house. Like that, like he's that brother in the Arkham game.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but I don't have anything else to add. So
Yeah. Uh I will say, because for some reason we didn't mention this earlier, as much as I love Asylum's challenge maps, I hate the extreme maps with a burning
Oh
passion.
yeah, yeah, they're annoying.
Yeah, so there's literally two sets of the same maps. There's the regular ones and then the extreme maps, which, of course, uh, use that name wisely because they are difficult as shit. Like even the combat ones, I think I struggle with a lot. Um, and the
Why was
predator maps,
extreme? No, go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
it's like the predator maps are even worse. Um, I find so.
Why was the 2000s like everything had to be extreme, extreme
Extreme.
Doritos, extreme M&Ms, extreme freaking Arkham maps? Like, no, we don't need any more extreme.
No,
God,
we left extreme with the 90s and we should have stayed that
could have
way.
died there. Oh God, yeah, the extreme maps are very irritating to say the least. I just do them just to get 3 stars on each one because I have to be a perfectionist in the Arkham games. Um, but yeah, they're annoying. They're unneeded. So,
Oh,
and it did
I
carry
feel
on
this
to Arkham City.
a little bit, but that was more just like as the games went on, that just became more of like an option rather than being like,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna do that. But yeah, Asylum. Yeah, I only do them now just for the 3 rank thing, and I have a goal which I haven't done yet, which is to get the platinum for Asylum on every version of the game. So I did it for the Xbox 360 version. I just did it for the PS4 version like a week ago. Literally spent a day because I had nothing better to do, just going through the extreme maps because I hadn't finished them yet. I did all those. So maybe in the near future I'll do it for, I don't know, maybe Steam or Epic or that kind of thing. So
Well, maybe if they come out on the Switch, you'll have that as
yeah,
well.
maybe if that happens.
If that
I
ever
mean,
happens.
I would love to see that, but
But that's really all I have to say about the challenge maps in the Arkham games. Asylum for me is still reigns supreme, but City is right there, and Night and Origins are kind of in this gray area.
yeah,
But that is me.
yeah. As for my thoughts, I mean, I feel the same way. Asylum is great. City is like a good follow up. It's not quite as good as Asylum's in my opinion, but like it's still really good stuff. Origins is completely forgettable aside from one map, but out of like what 40, 50 maps, like it's basically nothing. And then Night had a few good sprinkles in there, but overall it's just not that great. But anyway, but I think that's going to cut it for this episode. Tell us in the comments what your favorite challenge maps are, and what would be your dream challenge map in an Arkham game? What setting? Would it be combat? Would it be stealth? Let us know. But until then, till the next episode, we will see you all next time. Thank you all so much for watching. And don't forget to keep yourselves locked up.
Stay locked up. See you guys.
See ya.